Dude, I'd freaking what is it? I should chase that, and I showed one of my buddies at work. They were laughing. It's pretty funny. Freaking fantastic clip. Absolutely beautiful clip. Oh, it wasn't even a clip. It was a freaking highlight. All right, there's no freaking shot. This guy takes me a lot of tries, dude. There's no freaking way. This freaking stupid ass freaking headset. Alright. Alright, you big beach. Look, I'm tired of fighting your ass. You're just gonna have to freaking die, alright? What the fuck am I so slow for? Is this how I always was? I'm slow as shit. Oh. Oh. There's no way. Oh, shit. Ah! Oh, I forgot I gotta go that far. Doing good so far. Doing good so far, good so far. Okay, wasn't even near me. Alright, we'll just keep doing some laps. It's good. I like doing laps. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Just keep doing laps. Yeah. Freaking nuking this beach. Yeah. Okay, wow, that was still big. Shit, good job, Nick. Proud of you. Shit, actually dodged. Oh, I'm not gonna dodge that though. Or I can just not give a flying sheet and not get hit by it. Or alright, let's get this exciting sheet over with. Alright, here we go. Here comes the exciting part. Part where I get a frickin' one shot. Okay, how does it start off again? Is this the smoke one or is it the next one? Ah! Okay, hold on. Yeah! Ah! Ah! Oh, it's one. Yeah! Wow. Okay. Oh, double. Yeah! Fuck, I dodged that. Okay, how many times are we gonna do this? How the fuck did that hit? What? Out of all the attacks, that one hit me? What? Wow. Little beach. Frickin' punk. I refuse to. Oh god, we've already. Oh shit, it's a continuation of this again? How the fuck is that? What? Are you. Why are you hitting me with all these new attacks? What? What the fuck are these new attacks you're popping off right now? I don't know if I freaking appreciate that sheet. Okay, here's what sheet pops off, right? Is this the smoke one? God, what the fuck was all that sheet? I'm already at 6 flat. I'm getting fooked right now. Is this where you teleport again? solvable freaking 1, 2, 3. Alright, going in for round 2. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot you're gonna do that sheet while you're freaking going towards my ass. I don't know which freaking direction you're coming through. Ah! Huh. Oh yeah, the lasers. Oh, oh, yeah, the lasers. I forgot about those. Oh, okay. Knuckle, that was pretty scuff right anyways from the start. He freaking did the teleporting like 4 times more than he usually does. That was a good start. Whole 10-minute fight. Love that. Or no, like 7. Huh. Alright. Alright, Nick, there's no way you take freaking 3 hours in Stone Beach. Watch him not even drop the thing I want. It's probably not gonna drop the freaking stone I want. Getting all excited this guy's gonna freaking drop me a somber thing. He's not gonna freaking drop my sheet. Alright, if you can like not do what you did last time, that'd be great. Thanks. Alright. If we could just make this, you know, go by a little quicker, that'd be great. Thanks. Oh, go ahead and start it off. I already know you're gonna freaking start off with that sheet. Oh, there it is. No beach. That was not fair. Do I need to heal with that? Is that gonna waste it? Okay. Oh, you have the flames after that. Oh, yeah. Oh, but you're not doing it towards me. Okay. Oh, okay. As long as you don't do your claw, that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. That one works. This doesn't really involve me. That one involved me. I could have moved for one, but don't do your freaking claw, please. Shit. So glad that didn't hit me. I don't know where your thing's at, so I'm just gonna continuously hit you. Done that much research yet. Is that really hitting you more than I usually do? Ah! Ah! Oh yeah. Yeah! Don't know how to dodge that. I keep getting hit by that sheet. Alright. Yeah! Kind of. Yeah. Don't know how to dodge that. Okay. Wow. Jesus. God damn, homie. Oh shoot, already? Oh, it's already down that much? Alright, Nick, for God's sake, you got this. How many times have you done this? Yeah! Never mind. Alright, bad thing is about to happen. Very, very bad things about to happen. He's gonna do a bull. Sheep. Gonna do the sheep. Alright, this is where she pops off. Oh. Oh yeah, it is. Alright, pay attention, pay attention. Look for the clouds, look for the clouds. Yeah! Okay, good job, good job. That was good, that was good. Oh, this is the lasers. I don't know how to dodge these. Oh, fuck, that was a good timing. Is that it? Just one? Oh, freaking bet. Okay. Oh, I know I'm using my potion right there. Oh, perfect timing, Nick. Good job, I'm proud of you. Damn it, dude, I don't know how to dodge that shit. Again? Well, you do the freaking smoke thing again? Ah, oh, shit. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm just going too early. That's the problem. Oh, don't tell me you do the freaking lasers again. He's gonna do his claw. He's gonna do his claw. He's gonna do his claw. Should not have been able to dodge that. I don't know how I dodged that as well. I don't know how I dodged that shit. Ah, shit. Oh, what? That was dumb. Don't tell me you double combo with that. Oh, oh, I thought that was instant kill. Alright, see you later, homie. Frickin' nice knowing you, my guy. No shot that took me frickin' 3 hours, thank God. Don't tell me he has a second phase. Okay, I was about to start crying. Alright, he did not give me the thing I wanted, so that was kind of a waste of time. Alright. Jeez. Son of a beach. Alright. I mean, I guess it wasn't a waste of time, but... Fuck, man, I was really hoping that you'd fucking give me that sheet. Alright, what you got, homie? Heavy thrusting sword? No. Well, that's actually high dex. Spews golden breath of Dragon Lord fast adjust. Alright, not gonna use that sheet either. Okay. Do you happen to, I don't know why I'm looking here. Okay, there's literally no point. You're a freaking dragon. The frick's wrong with you, Nick? God. Alright. That's kind of an F. I was really hoping that he would give me a freaking somber ancient, but frick, he did not. So maybe we just deal with, how much does that sheet go for? 30? Alright, let's try and get a couple lobes right now. I think it takes what, like 100 and something to freaking do this sheet. 140 or something. 110. Frickin' dude, let's go frickin' 60 right now. How much is that? 20k. So that's like what? Frickin' 25? Let's just go 30. Fuck, I'm upset he didn't give me a thing. Sheet. Alright, dude, we're going 60 up on this beach. Oh, I can't get him. I'm going 60, but. Fuck it, dude. 50 up on this much. Okay. Sheet. Alright. Okay. So all we got left is the freaking Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring. Elden Beast. Now, he's just right here, right? And you go past the thorns? feel like I haven't fought this guy in a hot minute. It's probably been, yes, okay. Been a couple streams. Frick, now I gotta learn all his shit again, man. Frick. Also, low key, I want to do a freaking comparison on motherfucking damage real quick. So let's let me fight you with this first. I really have to. Oh, wait. Ah, okay. You press the button. Ah, okay. All right. Let's see how much damage this does versus the other katana. Because I'm actually kind of curious. Okay, dude. I totally forgot how to fight your ass. 322. She doesn't even do them. It's not even really that better. What? I pressed the button before I did that. And this shit doesn't even do that much damage versus my other katana. What the fuck? Well, I mean, this thing is, it's not maxed. I wonder how much... That stone has to give it a sheetload of freaking boost. What? English? What? Well, frick, should I even use this katana then? I'm missing out on freaking damage here. Freaking precious damage that I freaking need. God, I forgot all the timing. That's gonna explode, huh? Yep. Oh, I forgot every single thing involving timing with your ass. Oh, I forgot I do hella damage with that. I should probably get out of that. Oh, I got out of it. Oh, get wrecked, nerd. Oh, that's... Oh, yeah, that's me. I forgot this move. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Alright. Might be here, probably gonna be here for like an hour and a half just trying to remember all this shit. Hey, what's up, Chase? Hey, Chase, you wanna be my Google for the next like 2 minutes? Since Bagel's AFK, or whatever the fuck he's doing. Can you fucking look up a location for the fucking, the somber ancient stone, I think that's what it's called? I totally jumped over that. Okay. Wow, you have a lot of combos. Okay. I don't remember all these. I didn't dodge that. I don't remember all these. Did you always do all these combos before? What the fuck? Ow. Fuck, that's good. Found in a gaze boob. What the frick is that, dude? Behind the things, stationary farm. Some dragon sitting in the back of the plaza southeast of the dragon temple rooftop side of Crate. The dragon is constantly raining red lightning around the area and killing it. Also would do it. Oh, I think I already. Oh, you're talking about. You're talking about over here. What was the grace called? Dragon Temple Rooftop. Is that the actual name of the freaking grace? Oh, Dragon Temple. I think I already got that one. Yeah, that was the first red one that I saw, and yeah, Yeah, I think I already got that one. Is there any other locations for it? Wait, are you looking up the somber one, or are you looking up the just the regular ancient dragon ancient? Is it called dragon ancient? Because this katana needs the somber one. Wait, did he give me a somber? Oh, wow! I dodged. What? I don't know that timing, but I just dodged like 4 combos from him. That was kind of odd. Dude, I don't know your timing. You're all. For how much I hate this guy. Just like dodge that. Can you stop delaying your sheet, my guy? I can't read that sheet. Oh yes, yeah, that one's for a regular ancient. Wait, he gave me an ancient? Huh. Forgot about that. I think I used those on my dual katanas. You can tap a little bit of that. What? Okay, I jumped. God, I forgot how much I hate this guy. Jump! Okay, I don't know why I thought jumping was sitting right there. God damn, everything is freaking delayed. I probably should take that time to freaking heal. That probably would have been a good time to heal, Nick. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Okay. Welcome. Fuck it. You know what? Hold on. Let me go back to the freaking dual world. I'm gonna get the feels again. Potentially the first somber ancient smithing stone you can find in Elden Ring. This is also one of the similar ones to require you have to make your way to the concentrated snowfield area, which requires 2 halves of the Hellgate secret medallion found. Okay, I've got the freaking medallion, so we're already do with that. Make your way to the inner concentrated. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm actually not surprised it's here. Follow the river west until you've been invaded by old friends. Follow the river west. Okay. That makes sense because I haven't really explored over here. Oh, it's just that chick. Okay. Okay, so are we actually going the freaking river or what? Fuck it, let's run that sheet. That's probably easier if we just go right here. There's a total of 8, and I haven't gotten 1? What the fuck? That's some bullshit. Oh yeah, this place. Alright, so we're looking to get... Oh, I forgot how much I hate this place. It's a stupid ass fog. Freaking archers, you dumb beach. You guys freaking suck. Dog water. Alright, she said to follow this sheet. Machaka, I'm following this sheet. Thank you, sir. I don't know how far it wants me to go, but I'm freaking going. What the fuck is that? What? Is that actually gonna hit me? Is that... What the fuck is that? Wait, is that what the castle thing? Bitch, get your ass up. That thing shoots... What? That's that she has it shoots stuff now? What the fuck? Okay. Oh, you know what? To be fair, kind of told me to just go from here and do it, so maybe I should do that. Cause I'm kind of starting off over here. Maybe it happens like right here. Let's do that. Oh, it said inner. Oh, whoops. Fuck, I'll run this shit. Don't get food. All we gotta do is sit in the fog for 3 hours. Wait, that man is different from all the other freaking castles. I wonder what he gives. Is this death? Oh. Okay. I freaking hate this place, man. Is this death? Beach. 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 Ow. Oh, so homies. Alright, so take frickin' west, so I'm motherfucking going this way. You follow the river, beach, I'm following actually. Here we go. Should we just left in a truck? Oh shit. I feel like I've gotten invaded by this guy before. Have I? Sure, puss. Maybe I gotta go all the way down this sheet. Oh god. What's up, beach? Yeah. Oh god. Oh boy. Oh god. Oh boy. Oh. Oh, I forgot. Stuff's been shot at me. Oh yeah, free pass. I hate how the camera forces you to. Ah. Oh no, we're chilling, we're chilling. That's gonna hurt though. I should probably go this way. Okay, no, it's fair. It's fair. Okay, no shot. You have good info over here. I feel like this is where he or she would be. I'm about to kill that freaking guy in the castle. What the fuck is that? Hello, sir. Is anyone here to invade me? If there is, get your stupid ass up. Down over here. Yeah, sure. Nice sheet. Fucking hate this beach. Oh. 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 Okay, so do you have aimbot now? I'm not safe anywhere. Alright. You know what? Fuck this stupid ass ancient. I'm killing this dumb beach. Fucking shoot shit at me, Mochaka. Frick you, dumb beach. I'm Mochaka. Oh, the FPS. How do you survive that? Speedrunner. You little FPS draining beach. I hate how long that takes for your freaking slow ass to get back up. Oh, look at that. Okay, sir. Alright, look, I'm tired of your sheet. And I can't hit me, you dumb beach.
Oh, what's over here? Where's the little sheet at? You know what? I ain't want to kill you anymore. You're dumb. Come over here. This is probably where I get invaded, I feel like, because it's like a perfect chance. Oh, look, it's... Oh, it's the freaking tier right here. Huh. Oh, now you just... Okay. Oh. Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay. Ooh, mirror shield? Dude, I followed this river all the way through, and again, maybe I already done this. English? Why'd you stop? Oh. Ah! Maybe I already did this one. What's the next one? Ah, shit, my head's gonna die soon. God, frick. Actually, you know what? Frick it. Let's run that sheet all the way through. Let's go the opposite way and come back. I feel like I've already gotten invaded by this chick before. Well, if it's back over here, I definitely got invaded by this dumb beach before. Ah, frick it. We'll try it. Oh, Mr. Invasion! Definitely not west, but I don't have the inner grace, I'm assuming, so. Cheat. I've definitely been here before. Should, wait, have I already been over here? I don't freaking know. Nah, I would definitely grab this item. The frick is that? Oh. I've never explored over here? Why? Oh, hello. Uh. Oh, it's that guy. Well, I already fought you before. You don't get freaking sheep. Definitely not the correct way to go for a. What's it called? Okay. It's okay. Okay. I must have already gotten this one. Beach. Ah, frick the sheep. Maybe we're just meant to go back to two-handing. Maybe we'll try. If I keep failing, I'll try to do the frickin' I'll try and do the different ones. Different locations. How much does this do? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't missed. Oh, yeah. Definitely, definitely missed doing big boy damage. No shot that hit me. Oh, I forgot. You don't take any bleed, huh? That's freaking awesome. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I forgot the second phase to start doing all this shit. Oh, boy. Ah, Jesus Christ. I forgot how much I hate you. Oh boy, are you running? No. I was trying to figure out a location to get the Somber Ancient Stone, but we had no luck. I'm gonna try to one, but now I'm just going back to dual handing because it does more damage. And I figured out that my without the Millennium's Katana fully maxed out, it doesn't do as much damage as my one of my maxed out ones. Oh yeah, we killed the dragon though, so that's a plus. I also forgot how much I freaking absolutely hate this guy. He just attacks you all the time. Everything is delayed, and I don't like it. Oh, there's a shot that freaking hit me. And of course, I roll right into you instead of away from you. Ooh. Oh, oh yeah, I forgot. You have to do that one. Delayed. Oh, yeah. It's all coming back to me. It's only been a couple of streams, right? Because I know we kind of mixed it up with Melina, and then we mixed it up to him. And then I kept dying, so I was like, okay, let's go back. When did I press the freaking right click? So now why can't you, sir? That does initial damage with that? Huh. Oh my god, it's just like Melina. Sir, I pressed space. I dodged that? Oh, I forgot you had the. Oh, it doesn't matter. Fuck, I'm going for it. He's gonna. Yup. I hate it so much. Yeah, that was my bad. Dang, he's already down half? I don't think this guy is harder than Melina, so I feel like it shouldn't take us freaking 6-7 streams to kill this dumb beach. I'm thinking maybe just like a couple or something, I don't know. Cause I gotta remember all his sheet over again now. I was doing pretty good when I first got this guy. But I mean, then we fought Melina and all my freaking memories. Like, hey, see you later, my guy. He's just let me have that money. Ow. Sir, definitely do not. Definitely do not want to do that. It's freaking delayed. Why is it every time I go for an attack, you go for a freaking one, huh? I accept that one. Dash, dodge, and attack. You dodge that one, though. Oh, dodge that one, though. Nice one, freaking hell. Not dodging this one, though. Yes, I am. What? The frick did that hit me? I'm dead. Yep. But how did that hit me? Oh boy. Oh boy, okay. Milena V2. Oh my god. After this fight, I gotta frickin' change up my frickin' batteries in my headset. Yeah, maybe I just have to start releasing every time he does the big lightning move. It's always frickin' delayed. Sir, I pressed the button for that. How the frick did that not dodge? I'm dead. Let me guess, by the time to heal again? I fat fingered. I fat fingered. I mean, 1 second, I have to frickin' put my new shit in. Uno momento. Alright, now I gotta frickin' change my stupid thing because it always frickin' changes back. Right, let me guess. Now the audio's not working, huh? Oh no, I forgot. I don't have it going through that. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, should we change up for this guy? So when did I switch to medium load? Is it because of armor? I didn't even know I switched. Shows how much I was paying attention to the freaking light, even though I said it was freaking God tier every time. I don't think we'll be able to get full combos off this guy, but wow, okay. Okay. Ow. I feel like having the full combo thing is freaking not worth. Because I mean, when do I ever get the chance to full combo him? But then again, what else can I put that with? Oh, you know what? He does lightning damage. I had a thing for that. Ooh. I didn't even do that much. That's considered lightning, right? Nah, no shot, it's not. Where is it? So I'm gonna need you to smack me in the face with your freaking lightning. Every time I go for a freaking ow, I'm already dead. Okay, our strategy here is it's not doing too well. I don't think jumping with this guy is gonna do a sheet because can't stagger this guy at all. So what the frick? What can we swap out for that? Okay, definitely keep the physical damage. What did I have on this before? I think I had a stamina one, right? Okay, let's run that. I don't think frickin' jumping attacks are worth. I think the only reason I did jumping attacks on Melina is because it frickin' staggered. Well, actually, sometimes, not all the time. But did it? Yeah, let's just say that. It's not really much more than this. Fucking delayed. I still, it's a force of habit to do frickin' what's it called? Ow! Okay. Ow. One moment I don't assume that you're gonna do a quick attack, you do a quick attack. It's every frickin' time. Oh. Okay. Oh, it takes its time, Nick. You frickin' got this cheat. Damn, we live for an hour, right? Is that worth it? Probably not. Sir, I pressed space. How many times am I gonna freaking forget damage? It's gonna hurt. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was out of range for that. So I dodged that. Wow, that was bad. Frickin' go for a double. Do not go for a double. I pressed space again, but I fat fingered the frickin' right click. Oh. God, you get down to the same one health all the time. At least it doesn't keep swinging like frickin' Melina. Wow. Oh, Jesus. That was, not the best timing in the world. God, I keep fat friggin' right click, dude. I, I keep pressing it right like as I'm doing a dodge, and then once I get out of the dodge, it just does it. Fuck some beat. How come I'm fire figuring that now? I didn't actually know. You know what? I kind of deal with every boss, so maybe I shouldn't talk. Time down the freaking lock. Oh, come on, my guy. God, Jesus, I cannot get... Oh, okay, I cannot get your timings down. I forgot how much I struggle with this guy. Your freaking timing is just so freaking weird, man. Oh, it's gonna take you a freaking... It's gonna take you a while to get used to it again. Oh, son of a beach. Do I say screw Melena and just freaking go back to Lightlet again? God damn, homie. God damn, homie. I did it again. Luckily I didn't die by it though. Just freaking non-stop. Oh, I did it again. Now I'm just starting to realize I'm dodging where I don't know. God, I did it again. Oh, shit, I forgot about that one. Wait, let me look at something. Does that go all the way around? Can I just... Oh, no, I forgot. You frickin' you follow me, so I don't think I can get free damage. Actually, wait, can I? No, I forgot. Maybe I can. Oh, God. Every time I go for attack, you always do that, and I guess I just never learn. Oh, God, I didn't have any stamina. Exception made. Exception made. Oh, shit. Mistakes were made. Actually, no, that was different than the other timings. Oh, bad time to heal. Yup. Let me guess. You're gonna. Oh. Don't know why I tapped right there. Oh, I did it again. I'm about to rebind my right click to something else, so I don't have the tendency of doing it. Almost didn't go for a double and actually worked out for once. I thought I had that timing down, but I guess not. You can't go for a heal, you're gonna smack me in the face, huh? I don't know. Oh, I almost got it. Oh, I almost got it. Oh, got that one. How does that teleport do damage? It's unfair. God damn, homie, can you just give me a break? Oh my god. Don't forget to teleport this damage. Yeah, we're not making much progress here. Alright, beach. Oh my god, I actually timed it. Oh, I didn't time that though. Oh look, I timed that well. Oh, my health is already at 0. Oh. Oh, okay. Ow. no stamina. Yo, I'm gonna get shot. Please. Oh, thanks. Don't forget the teleport does. Dude, it's always half health. If it's not half health, it's to try and bit over it. Or less than it. Damn. Why'd you have to go for a 4? Oh my, that did it again. Somehow I didn't get hit by that. Don't know how. Faster than before. Oh, wow! A fat finger. Sir, hands, I'm gonna need you to stop doing that, my guy. You're fooking me up here. I'm having a good groove, and then you're just freaking coming in with the freaking fat finger right click. It's fooking me up. Stop right now, please. Thanks. Shit, I missed the freaking attack. I did not even attempt to dodge that, apparently. Jesus Christ. I think this happened last time. I got down to half, and that's all I was doing for like a solid hour, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. Something close to that. This freaking sucks. Ooh, I can get 3 right there. Ooh, 3. Oh, I'm about to close to dying. Wasn't even paying attention. I was feeling that. Okay, so I can get 3 when he does that one attack, the little frickin' wave sheet that goes outwards and pops back up, or some sheet. Or no, that's the other one. Wait. No, yeah, that one. Sure. Can't. I'm not fast enough for that. 1, 2. That was not even attempted to freaking dodge. The ultimate combo of freaking death and destruction. And dodged the attack. Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna kill me. I thought I didn't even attempt to dodge it. Oh. Okay. So I think I can get one attack in every time she does, or it does the frickin' the 1, 2, 3 combo with the slams. I think I can get one little frickin' in there. Maybe. Possibly. Maybe so. When it's that quick. 50 seconds. God damn, that's Frisky with no stamina. This is oh, wow. It's not a very good dodge. Also, not a very good dodge. Oh, that's a different one. That's a different one. That's a different one. I gotta remember that now. It's gonna be death. Oh, fuck. God. Damn, I was hoping you wouldn't stop. Okay, I gotta remember, what attack is that? The one where he flies when he's low health, that she stays there and explodes again. Or erupts. Whatever the frick you want to call it. Dodging. That one. Just low on that one. Okay, so right now it doesn't do, but the second time it is. Got that shit on lockdown. I'm dead. Never mind. I was hoping you wouldn't do that attack. You did the attack. You know what? I wasn't even feeling that run anyways. That was dumb. Oh yeah, start. Oh no, I was about to say starting off easy. How do you do that tech? No, I can't move that sheet. That was the definition of not good timing at all. Hold on, uno momento. I think my sister texted me. Alright, give me 1 second, boys. Jason, 24. I've been looking. How's the grind going? It's going alright. I'm slowly remembering all this sheet. It took a while. It took like 30 minutes of dying to kind of re-jog the memory. I gotta send my sister something to me. Uno momento. How's your week going, by the way, Pickle? Doing alright? What day is today? Monday? Alright. Yeah, I'm very, very slowly understanding the frickin' sheet here. Give me like another 7 hours. I got it. Oh, dude, frick, I don't remember anything involving the frickin' Elden beasts. That's a whole other can of worms. I don't remember sheet from that much, okay. Sir, you know I can't dodge those? You just stop them here, please. Damn, that was bad. Oh, what do you know? I went for an attack, got slapped. Can I heal? Can I heal? Nope. At least I asked, though. Touch of the golden north. Oh yeah, starting off easy. I kind of missed out on some damage, but... Oh, I did not mean to press that. See, I dodge stuff like that, but I die so often. What the food? That was bad. single boss, dude. What is this? Please, please. I forgot that does initial damage. How many times am I gonna forget that? I knew he was going for that attack too. Freaking punk. I would just chill around and like find better spots to heal, but like, I get nervous. If I'm like half health, dude, that's like what, a possibility to get a one shot. Shit, I think this attack. That's easy damage I just freaking missed out on. Yeah, bad time to heal, yep. Somehow I dodged it. I did not dodge that though. I don't know how the fuck I dodged that. I did not realize that that had the effect on it. Alright, we're learning. I'm processing all these hints I'm giving myself. Processing that sheet. Aye, beach. Oh yeah, starting off frickin' strong. I was doing good that whole frickin' run and not fixing it. And then I died of fat fingering. Alright. Sheet. Sheet. I had 13 flasks, dude. I'm almost down to half already. That was a freaking good ass run. God freaking damn. And again, you know what? I feel like it shouldn't even matter if I die when he's at his, like, I guess you call it first phase sheet. Because the second sheet's really when the sheet pops off. A lot of the same attack going on here. Where the frick's the variety at? That's how many times are you gonna forget, Nick? You literally just said this in the last death. And what do you know? You frickin' forgot. Son of a bitch. Oh god, excuse me. Times are you gonna go for that attack and get hit every single time you forget? And then you dodge that somehow. The fuck does that make sense? That was so bad and it still worked. I don't understand. I freaking pressed right. Why? I need to like get my hand off my freaking mouse and only put that shit on when I'm about to attack. Fook. Technically, couldn't you play this game with just a freaking mouse or a keyboard? At least if you're not doing like archery stuff. I guess you do archery. Aim with that shit. Oh my god, I forgot for one. That is not a 2. I did it again. It's pretty bad timing. That was not good timing at all. Okay. Nice dodge. You same exact shoot that happened last time. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, G? I'm doing a fat dab for you. Hell yeah. Fat dab's my fucking death. What's up, Anthony? What's up, dude? How's it going? Oh! Oh, I got a freaking clip to show you. Actually, I might watch that clip on stream because it's funny as shit. Mistakes were made. I'm sorry, dude. No, nice dodge, Nick. Nice attempt. Oh, look, I'm gonna die the same way I did before. Yup. Alright, Anthony, you wanna watch a funny ass clip? It's like 6 minutes long. I can never. It's such a good clip. I mean, it's not in the clip. I'm gonna call it a highlight because I couldn't fit that sheet in the clip. I'm gonna assume you're saying yes because I'm gonna pull it up. Alright. Where's that sheet at? Sheet. Where the fuck's it at? Oh, here it is. Yes, you're ready? Alright, dude. This is... it's a fucking good-ass clip. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna take my camera off so you can see my sheet.
Side and back don't. Do I spin on top? That sheet dries pretty goddamn quick, but the frickin' the side and back don't. Oh, it's frickin' annoying as shit, man.
The fuck am I even talking about? A double overlay.
Oh, fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck your attack. You know what? Fuck you. Okay, no. Beach! Fuck you, shit. Oh, God. Luck. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, oh, what's up, Druid? What's up, mate? I've been dying to come see you play this, but been waiting for performance patches to fix the surge. 7 months didn't happen.
Damn, my pop filter fucking sucks, dude. You can hear all the poofs.
Oh, play this. Oh,
The
shit. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Wait, what was the reason for it?
I like I was just sitting here
Wait, you were
dancing
having
this shirt.
performance? Did you check that out last time? What's up, Druid? What's up, mate? I don't know if you want to flex me while play this game. Fucking Druids. You're in for a fucking roller coaster, my guy. Good luck. Good fucking luck. You're probably gonna be this boss before. Oh, shut the fuck up. I will. It ran worse than a one-legged dead cat. Damn. I'm gonna pull the dead cat out, dude. Damn, man.
I should probably keep it with the frickin' chat overlay. Can you have that in full screen? No. And the first
Oh, yeah, walk
couple
around
minutes
much.
got kind of fucking boring.
Oh yeah. I'm not getting cocky. Look at me. I'm
Oh, actually, no, I'm gonna wait till
That
later.
green for once.
I'll explain later.
Look at that shit. I refuse to play it until BIOS is fixed. Didn't want a tarnished experience. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So wait, what do you playing on? You play on the PC? Obviously, if you're having performance issues, probably wouldn't have that on the console. Well, hell yeah, homie. Welcome to Elden Ring. Ha. You're in for a treat. Just like this boss. Here we go.
Fucking like that sheet, okay. Here's where she pops off.
Frickin' I'm healing. Oh, shit. Oh, God, I wasted time. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, God. I don't know when to heal. 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 I'm healing. Ah! 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 I'm healing. Oh, thank God. Okay. Why do you gotta do this one, huh? Oh my God, I dodged the whole attack. Oh, no. Oh, shit. I'm healing. Ah! 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 Oh!
Freaking dork, my guy.
Okay. Healing. Go. Oh, of course. You know, combo that was something else. I love that. Get some channeling. Wait for it. Don't get cocky. Go for it. That was 100% worth it. What's this one? Oh, shit. Okay, I forgot that happens. Okay. This is free damage, Nick. This is free damage. This is literally free damage, Nick. This is free damage. This is free damage, my guy. Get that freaking bleed.
It's kind of hard to see the health at this point.
What is this one? What is this one? What is this? Yeah. Ah. No, please. God. Ah. Oh. Go. Oh my god, please. Mercy. Mercy, please. Mercy, my freaking soul. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
What? Backstory. He told me that this boss had 3 health bars, not 2. So this is why I was freaking out right here. It looks nice to me. Here we go.
Please, just die. Don't respawn. Please, just freaking die. I swear to God.
Oh, you can't even. You can't even hear it. Hold on. Freaking love that freaking highlight, dude. Holy shit, that's such a good highlight. Alright, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Freaking love that clip. I was a good ass boss fight, dude. Good ass boss fight. Alright, I'll be back in 1 second. Alrighty, schmighty. Sorry about that. But yeah, dude, it was freaking absolutely god tier clip or highlight. Good ass fight, dude. That fight took me, I want to say like 5 to 6 streams. Solid, I think. So that's what, like 20 plus hours, dude. It was it's a fun journey, man. I'm glad she's over there. I was freaking tired of that motherfucker. But now I gotta deal with this freaking beach. I don't think this guy's gonna take as long as Melina. I do think he's gonna take a hot minute though. Like me like constantly fighting. That's bad. So freaking early, dude. That was freaking terrible. Oh, no, please. Oh, Jesus. Oh, 2 in a row? You want to go 3? Frickin', let's go 3, my guy. Frickin', okay. Oh, that freaking hit me? Feel accomplished? I can't play this game. Yeah, dude, after fighting a freaking boss for that many freaking hours, dude, it feels good to fucking kill that damage. I would love, absolutely love to heal if you don't mind. I've been trying to heal for the past like 10 moves. So yeah, after we killed Melina, we went to go fight the dragon that I've been procrastinating, kind of. We killed that guy the first like 30 minutes of today's stream. And then Elden Lord, Elden Beast, this guy right here is the last guy, the last boss, I believe. Unless we're doing more optional stuff, I'm not quite sure if we are. But after Elden Ring, I'm gonna switch back over to Bone Labs and finish that. Because that game's freaking lit. I started it, so I finished it. After Bone Labs, I think we're probably gonna switch over to maybe play the Sekiro, or the freaking name of the game is. Please. That was the wind-up attack. Dude, I always give down to half health. I really hope this guy doesn't freaking take as long as Millennium, bro. I mean, yeah, I know this is the last freaking main boss of the game, but son of a beach, man. Hey, thanks for looking, homie. I'm gonna have to add that freaking command back because I've noticed a lot of people freaking well, I guess just 2 people have been doing this out a lot. I'll add that sheet back. Oh god, that was risky. Fat fingered again, my guy. I freaking fat fingered right click. It's always half health, my guy. It's either half or a little bit less than half. Every fucking time. Some bitch. Ow. stamina for everything. Really should take the opportunity to heal. Oh! What do you know? Can I at least get to the second phase? Or not even a phase, because that's just a whole another freaking enemy. Can I at least get to the second shoot this room, please? Once? I don't know, how have I not gotten there once? I've only gotten this guy down a lot, like one time. I know I'm just getting back into this one trigger, but come on, dude. Ow. No. I just freaking rolled in that seat. Oh, I'm dead. No freaking shot, I rolled in that sheet, motherfucker. Catch my fan up. Or not. Or turn it off. That's whole dodge that. I told dodge that. Ow. God damn it, that fat from again, dude. Oh my goodness. Alright. Okay. Okay. Help this rudder stum. Fuck, I missed an attack. Fuck, that was a bad time. Again? Alright. Again? I should have a little time watch, dude, and press that shit as soon as he does it, dude. Ain't no time for sitting around. We got a boss to kill. Haha, haha. The fuck did I dodge that? Ow. Wow, I got so lucky didn't do javelin right there. I would have been Wow, I'm playing a risky game right now. Damn it, man. Son of a beach. Not good. Okay, well, I mean, that was a good run. We freaked up on a lot of stuff. That was a good run, though. Take it. I'll take that in my collection of runs. Well, that wasn't very good times. This run's already a rip. This run's already freaking rip. As soon as I got comboed with the 1-2 within the freaking plunge sheet, I just know. 'Cause that combo is just. Ow. Hurts. At least this boss gives you like free hits, you know? Not a lot of us do that. I just know how to get right there. I have no freaking stand there for anything. Right in front of me, this freaking emotion there. God damn. Oh, I thought that was the other one. Oh. Let's get out of that, shall we?
fucking still got hit by that.
That's some bullshit. That was a good run too.
Still got hit by that.
I can't believe that. Ow. Ow, I can't believe I got hit by that. I mean, then again, it was still bad timing. I should know. It's the same timing every time. You think I'd fucking learn that shit. I know. I always think it's gonna be the other one, but I know it's not because it's freaking faster than me. Oh, it's impossible to dodge. Ow. Fuck. Oh god, already about to a bad start. Oh, for god. Oh, I thought that was the... Oh. That's... Oh, okay. Ow. Come on, man. I gotta get to the frickin' second one at least once, my guy. Frick, come on, Beach. Oh, man. Oh, I usually only get two, man. Oh, dodging. Ha. Oh, I thought I had time to do that one. Oh my, that was freaking terrible. Oh. See you later, my guy. Alright, yay, we got two at one time. Yay. Yay. Alright. I don't remember anything at all in this freaking run. This is the run. This is the first time I've gotten to this sheet since I've started my stream. Today's been alright, honestly, not gonna lie. It's I got inventory coming up this weekend for work, so that's fun. Okay, Nick, use your brain here. What is his attacks? What does he do? He shoots sparkling sheets. He flies around a lot. And then he dies. God, sheep. Sheep. Anything. I don't remember anything. What is this move? What is this move? Oh, it's that. Oh, it's that one. Okay. Okay. Remember the first time I got to this speech? I freaking I got him down to what, like 1/4, dude. Hey, what's up, Sasha? What's up, dude? Oh, she my boy. You in freaking the end game? Hell yeah. I mean, I've been in the end game for a hot minute, but freaking Melena's been kicking my freaking sheet. I'm gonna post something. Hold on. I want you to watch this freaking clip. I'm gonna freaking brag for this clip because it's freaking got to. Come on, Steam. Frickin' load faster, dude. Come on, Macheka. Show me my sheet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I watched this sheet. Frickin' God's here. Frickin' frickin' love that highlight, dude. You can kind of skip through the first phase because it's kind of boring, but the second phase is where it kind of pops off a little bit. Use the other one that takes a little longer. That one. I don't miss how I forget about that though. Well, I'm gonna go for a heal. Yo. Realize you always go for that combo. Frick, I'm not here about that. I really appreciate it. What the frick did I dodge? I don't even see the frick you were doing. How the frick did I dodge that? There's a thing called dodging. I don't know if you're aware of that. Oh! Oh god, we're starting this already. What? I didn't time that good? Dude, I feel like that was freaking perfect. What the fuck? I feel like that was so freaking good. What the... Ow! I feel like that was so freaking good. I think I went into her instead of around her or something. What the? Flying. Flop, smackle, pop, my gosh. Oh shit. Oh fuck, nah, I messed up my head start. Yep. Oh yeah, this run's already fooked. I messed up my head start. Yeah, let's just get hit by everything. I'll keep my eye on space the whole time. It didn't work. Just get hit by every single freaking hit in a row. Seems like a freaking great plan. Pick that up for good luck. Oh yeah, that's the one. don't know how I dodged those bumps. I don't know how I dodged that either. I know how to dodge that. Shit. I know how I didn't do shit with that one either. Goddamn dude. And you going for a little sneak attack right there? No shot that hit me again. How many times have I gotten hit by this fucking bastard? Ah, what do you know, half health? Haha. Although it's boss bagel. How's your week going, Bagel? How's are you feeling 110% still? No shot, you don't do this on stream? Dude, I can barely do it. How many times? I think I've spent like a total of like what, 2 on this guy so far? Like after before the stream. Man, you gotta give me time to frickin' remember how to fight this guy. My lane is still embedded in my frickin' brain, alright? It's take a while to get her out of that shit. Pop, nice attack, man. Nice dodge, sir. Absolutely beautiful timing. Nice dodge. Going for a heal, frick you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Just gonna get reach. Oh, that's a different attack. I am dead man. Yes, I am. What the fuck was that? I thought you were gonna do a little pew sheets, not the little sheet. Okay. Oh my God, you're doing Gucci. What you been playing recently? Ah, shit, I missed it already. That's start. I hate that frickin' combo so much, man. I cannot dodge that shit. Oh, wowzers, that was bad. Oh, I felt like that was kind of good, no? It's not. Ow. Oh, wow, that was bad. Oh, that's it. Oh. Oh. Okay. GG on getting that dub in GG clip? Hell yeah, my guy. It's a fucking good ass clip, my guy. One dude was gonna start season. I need to make my alerts a little louder because you couldn't even hear the freaking song on the end. After playing that shit back. Go for a freaking combo. You always do some shit to stop me, you freaking beach. Dude, don't forget, Nick, that's the one where you doubled. Oh, what'd you do? You didn't do it in time. Alright. Alright, bro, we're gonna go stream. Have a good rest of yours. Alright, man. What are you streaming? Or, I guess, have a good stream. I don't think I had enough time to ask that. Oh, I forgot, but it worked out. God, why does it teleport your damage to? It's so freaking dumb. How the frick did I dodge that? Can you chill with the freaking bullets, my guy? Can you chill with the bullets, my guy? That's the move I wanted you to do before. I freaking did. You punk. Another shotgun chucks like four, what is that, 3.5 bullets and shit. 3? That's our walk off the edge, beach. That was kind of a bad time. That was also just straight up not even dodging at all. Alright. Okay. Attack. Oh my goodness. Frick, did I not dodge that? But then I can magically dodge that. I don't really understand. Damn, I keep forgetting your teleport does damage. Why does your teleport do damage? Huh? Why can't you just be normal and just not do damage? Huh? Why you gotta do damage? Is that really necessary? No, it's not. Why? Stop. hit by that so many freaking times. How the frick am I alive? Okay, I deserve to die because my sheet showed 0. And I always assume when I'm down past like half I die. And what do you know? The one time I don't freaking react. Be giant dead. Oof. I'm never gonna learn at this point. I'm never gonna freaking learn. What the frick did I dodge that? I'm never gonna learn. Oh. Oh, this is kind of awkward. Watch this somehow be the run. My God, just freaking cracking this run. Damn. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Oh, God. Okay. Ooh. I definitely wasn't filming anyways. Even though I had 10 left. From the very start, I guess I accidentally pressed my frickin' two-handed button, and everything went bad for that. Kind of. That's actually kind of good. Somehow. I don't know. Ow. Ow. Shot, I missed the whole thing. Do you expect me to dodge that, sir? How the frick did I dodge that? How the frick was I in range of that? I didn't even get the heal off? How do I keep messing up at the same exact health every single fight? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. It's I mean, then again, that's when you know, other attacks trigger. But like, what the fuck? Why? It's all up in that area too. Just needs to both combo health for some reason. Oh, I dodged the frick out of that. No, it's fine. Ow. The light that burns. I find it kind of unfair that you can do that behind you. If you wouldn't mind doing that, sir. It's a bit of an unfair fight, you know what I mean? That was terribly timed, but it somehow worked. Do not understand. You Joshua, dude? Beats me if I freaking understood how I got that. Oh, wait, oh, we're already in that fight. Okay. I noticed we're already in that. Ha. God damn, that was bad. Oh, I need to practice that. I don't know how I nailed that sheet the first couple times, right? What the frick's wrong with me? I should rename my stream to Nick Unconsistent. Fuck the BG7 at this point. As soon as I go for it. How the frick did I dodge that though? Oh, damn, I thought I had that 100%. See that, a sucker? Alright, you 11 motherfucking potions. 11 potions. Here we go. Okay, don't forget, Nick, when he does his little Vanish sheet, that's when he's gonna shoot the little frickin' pew 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 sheets.
speed. I don't know what the frick attack this is. Oh, that's the fire one. That one. Just run in a circle. Oh, it doesn't even last so long. Oh. Okay. I don't remember this attack very well. I don't remember that attack very well. I thought there was 3. Alright, good game. I just wasted my whole sheet. I thought it was 3. Wasn't 3 last time? Okay, I guess not. Well, I just wasted all that. Just wasted a whole 45 minutes to do that in 2 seconds. Alright then. You think if, because I don't remember what his attacks are, I'd do better, because that's kind of how it always seems to work for me. But, no. Nice attack, Nick. Absolutely beautiful damage. Wow, nice. Good job, Nick. Perfect attack, man. You did so much freaking damage right there. It's freaking crack. Little risk right there. I like the risk, my guy. I like the risk. That was bad timing, sir, because you don't remember the timing because you freaking suck at the game. Going for a heal right here. Are we gonna regret it? I regret it. I'm about to get combo to death. Oh shit! I thought that was longer, or shorter, or wait, no, longer. Shit. Frick, man, that last run, dude. The freaking lemon potions. Fuck. Babe, can you still hear me? That was stupid. Bad timing, okay. Probably should have healed up there. Like, more beneficial to go. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but we're not going to Cairo as soon as we're done with Elden Ring. We're gonna finish up maps, which I don't think is. I'm sure you already kind of knew that because kind of do that shit right. Oh God, that's the wrong button. It's with English. We're doing Sekiro whenever we finish Sekiro. Probably after Bone Labs, but I don't think Bone Labs will take that long. I don't know, cause I mean, I guess I'm only doing the campaign. I mean, maybe I'll do the sandbox. I don't know. I'm all about that campaign life, though. Oh, I still gotta get that sheet for a deal. I still gotta figure out when that sheet goes on sale. Ow. Oh, what do you know? I actually dodged. Didn't dodge that though.
mistake going for a double. I think I'd know that by now after fighting him for maybe like 2 hours, but I don't know. But yeah, I'll definitely let you know if you happen to not watch I guess the last Bone Labs stream or whatever the frick we do. I don't know. I don't even know how far. I don't know how many freaking levels there are. Oh, look, I should tell. Nope. Nope. Oh. Oh, I knew it. Ah, I knew it. Fuck it. Dude, I really just don't like the lightning bolts. Can you just not do them, please? Greatly appreciate that, my guy. Forgot this stupid ass freaking dumbass teleport. This freaking damage. Oh, okay. I've been here entire stream, just been chilling and voice with friends. I don't know, I Gucci. I was just saying. I'm gonna just start calling it Sakai Road because I'm always leaning towards that. Frick if it's the wrong pronunciation. It'll be fun to watch if you ever played it. I look forward to it. I think we'll like it. Hell yeah. Have I looked up any video? Have you showed me? Have I looked up anything on it? I don't think I have. So I'd be like 100% blind. What game is it like aside from Dark Souls? Well, is it even? Can you even compare it to Dark Souls? What combat can you compare it to? Funny moments. How many times am I gonna forget about that, dude? How many times? There's no point dodging that because somebody freaking made animation. I didn't hit that? I didn't. Wow, what? Can't compare it to anything? Ooh, it's unique. Huh, okay. Interesting. Well, again, remember, if you happen to ever see it on sale or any sheet, the frickin' I think I have it on my wish list, so it should let me know on my email, but if you happen to see a sheet go on sale, let me know. How much is the original? 40? Alright, one more thing. Do you think that sheet will last me quite a bit? I don't know. Like, you kind of know my playstyle. I thought I freaking broke his arm off for a second. Oh god, that was freaking terrible. me not to go for 2, Nick. Now you can't see sheet. Frickin' go for 2. Oh, look up. Okay, my guy, look. Can we just not do the lightning? Is that like really necessary? I'm starting to feel like it's not. Like. Yeah! Thank God I finally got it. God. Frickin' stagger century. Oh, wowzers. Frick, I'm going for it. Oh, that was bad timing. Oh, dodge that down. Oh, I wasn't even going for an attack. You probably think, oh, you're just probably going for an attack, trying to freaking get cocky. Nah, I wasn't. I promise. 2 playthroughs. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Second playthrough is like half the size of the first one. Oh, okay. I don't know what I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna look up sheet, but. You know what? I'll say this. I'm pretty sure you already told me it does, but I low-key kind of forgot. As long as it has stealth, dude. Stealth in any game is like fucking smart. Let me see the motherfucking stealth. I said as long as it has some stealth to it. Oh my god, dodge that. Oh my god, dodge that too. Oh my god, what the frick is happening right now? Oh, that's what's happening. Yeah! No shot, I didn't dodge that. That was a good ass freaking run. I have 13 potions? Holy shit. Story's a bit different. Would you do good ending first, then bad ending? Because otherwise it's cringe. I know I asked you already, but you know me, my memory sucks. Is there, is it just like, let's what do I compare this to? Maybe like Dark Souls 3, where it's like, just one linear path you go on to do sheet? Or is there some exploring to it? Ass freaking back press. That sheet's hot as shit. God damn. Kind of linear, you'll see. Okay. Sheet freaking. Sheet. Alright. That was terrible. And I went for an attack knowing that it was attack. Haha. Haha. Oh, that was not very good timing. I don't know why I did that. What? This man did a whole freaking 360. That would hit me, I'll probably grab. Oh. I was hoping you'd do another one of those attacks that was in a double heal. But he did not. No. Uh-oh. My boy frickin' Eli sent me a frickin' picture. Oh. He probably killed Melena. Oh, shit. Oh, Bagel, let me give you a good laugh here. So obviously, you know, I killed fucking Malane on Friday, right? So I came in today, and one of my coworkers happened to watch like the last section of my stream, and after I sent him the clip and everything, and first thing he said, or what did he say? He said something about like Malena Lord or some shit, and after that, the first thing he asked me was, "What kind of cheats did you use?" That was the funniest shit. I was like, "Damn, bro, this guy has no faith in that legit." Oh, speaking of Eli, what's up, Eli? Can you freaking calm down with the lightning, for God's sake? Conversation made. Oh, Jesus. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Wait for it. Yeah! God damn, that was terrible. Alright. That game, Sakara looks dope. Oh, you watched it? Yeah, dude, I think Eli would like it too. Maybe. Well, actually, I don't know. I haven't watched any videos on it, so I don't really know what it's about. And I'm trying to go a full blind playthrough on it, but from what my boy Bagel keeps telling me, it's pretty freaking good. Bro, Eli, I got to the second phase with freaking 13 potions left, and I freaking died. To like the third attack. I forgot all his freaking moves. I just got absolutely slaughtered. Huh? Who the frick has the reaction time for that, huh? Go, 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 go. Oh, yeah. Oh! 100% I thought I was in here right there. Gotta get her. Wait. Ah! Yeah! Dude, I feel like I'm doing so good with the timing, but I keep dying. Do I have to wait even longer than that? Well, you know what? I was kind of far away from him. You know what? I accept that death. I was freaking being dumb. I accept. Oh yeah. Also, Eli, I'm not sure if you're still watching, but that dragon didn't give me that freaking stone I wanted. Freaking pissed. Oh look, an attack that he didn't stack me on. That's weird. Wow, that was a fun run. That was a fun run. Fucking slap around like ragdoll on this beach. So yeah, that dragon didn't give me the stone, and I kind of figured out that I I two-handed one of my katanas, my regular ones, and it does more damage than my than Melena's. So I was like, I'll just stick with the dual wood, so until I get the freaking stone, which I don't even think I'm gonna get it. So. Dodge that. Oh, I need to wait longer. No. Oof. Damn it. Oh, I tried waiting a little longer too. Damn it. Damn. Alright, here, I'm gonna try some. I wanna see if I just put a weapon on, will it count as being in my sheet to give me the, what's it called? There it is. Okay, so how the dude, I don't know how you fight that. I'm gonna go fight this guy like that. I wanna see how hard this is. I don't know how you play with heavy load, man. God, let me run. Alright, let me see how tough this is. I don't know how the frick you play like this. This is crazy. Oh, dude, this is way too slow, man. How the fuck do you play with heavy load, my guy? Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, by the time you frickin' it takes you 4 years to get back up, I'm like, holy shit, my guy. There's no shot I can play like this. Especially with Milena? Oh, hell nah. Oh, I forgot. Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't know how the frick you play with heavy load, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'd strongly recommend trying medium to light with Milena and see if that frickin' well, I mean, I know it's gonna help you out, because holy bonkers. No shot, you need another stream just for Elden Ring? Oh my god, I haven't fought this guy on like 3 streams, alright? Frick, give me a break. Actually, no, has it been 3? You know what, let's say 4. Make myself feel better. It's his fault for not giving me good sheet to dodge with. I accept that one. Surprise it, man. Can I go for it? Can I go for it? Okay, you always do the same move, so. Wow! Nice dodge, and I like it a lot. Can I go for Hiller? Ah, thanks. Here we go with the frickin' lightning combo. That stupid ass attack is frickin' damage. I hate teleport. Couldn't even see. Nothing I can do. How many times are you gonna use lightning, my guy? You know, go ahead and use another one. Can I get one more good run? Do you mind? The frick? How did I dodge that? How did I not?
Okay, I'm wasting a heal because why not? It's fun. See, how are you supposed to dodge that when you're like already in mid-animation and you're freaking teleporting, huh? Just sit here and tank. Well, I'm freaking dead. Oh, never mind. Okay, let's go for a double. Can we go for a double? Oh yeah, let's just not use the potion. Okay, no, that's cool. You should probably not be in that. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. I don't know who the fuck told you it was a good idea, but definitely not. Dude, how was that not good timing? Am I dying by your staff hitting me, or am I dying by the frickin' AoE move? It's a combination of both. Why the frick did I just see him? What the fuck? Oh. Oh, dude, I can never get over how freaking good that looks. Punish. Nope, bad timing. Just kidding. I cannot see. I am not dead. I am dead. Never mind. Oh, yeah, love that move. Uh-huh. Go for kill, you're gonna teleport, shove another javelin in my face. Is there any way of dodging that whole thing when you throw your sheet and you frickin' chuck your sheet? Just give me good attacks that I can actually do something with. That hit me? Oh, okay. Oh, oh. Alright. Fuck it, last run. Or not, home, oh, I don't know if it's last. Fuck it, man. Let's run a rune arc in this speech. Okay, sheet, let's go. This is a runner here. Focus mode. Here we go, here we go. Rune arc in this speech. I probably should use this earlier. See ya later, chump. Holy shit. Alright. Talk about a good run. Holy shit. Oh yeah. Oh, it's time, baby. It's freaking time to rock and motherfucking roll on this beach. What does that move? Oh. Nothing but fucking running around fast up on this beach. Ow! What is this move? What is this move? What is this move? What is this? What is this? What the fuck is that? If you wouldn't mind, maybe I can, you know, maybe attack you a little bit if that's cool with you. I don't know if that's, you know, something you're into, but I mean, I haven't really done sheet 2 this whole time, so okay, I guess not. Okay. What the fuck is this one? This is the Ring of fucking Death. Pretty sure I just ran away from that, right? I sure do hope so. Alrighty. Oh, that's the... Oh, shit, I timed it wrong. It's fine. Dude, I haven't done a single lick of damage to this beach. I haven't done a single lick of damage to this beach. I haven't done a single lick of damage to this man. Wow, nice. Dude, this guy... I haven't done a single point. This speech keeps hitting no shit. Oh my god, I'm actually attacking the boss. What do you know? Oh, he's running away again. I didn't dodge right there. What the food? Jesus fucking Christ. I dodged that suit. Dude, this man, RNG Fest, holy shit. Are you talking about me running away? I felt like I was charging him the whole time. This beach just kept freaking shooting stuff where I couldn't get close to him. What the fuck? I kept trying to get close to him, but he kept running away. That was off. Freaking RNG, dude. Frick it, run that shit one more time, dude. Yeah, I must have got hell lucky the first time I fought that guy, dude. I freaking slapped his motherfucking face. I thought I still had the iframes. I did not have the iframes. Damn, that freaking Rune Arc trip was sick. I just wish I had more luck on that freaking beach. Son of a beach. How many times did we get to him this stream? Like 4 times? Fuck, that's okay. Sorry. We freaking suck. And after not fighting him for like 3-4 streams. Alright. I'm gonna freaking dip. I'm hot as shit. What the frick's new? I'm always hot whenever I stream, but frick.